Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about a truth that many are afraid to accept. The older you get, the less you need friends. That's right. It's not a sad reality, it's a liberating one. The expectations that society places on friendship, the need for constant socialization, the fear of being alone, all of these things fade as you begin to understand that the only person truly responsible for your happiness, your peace, and your survival is you. Friendship in its ideal form is supposed to be a bond of trust, loyalty, and mutual respect. But how many friendships actually stand the test of time? How many people remain by your side when life takes its turns, when you are no longer useful to them, when there is no benefit in staying connected to you? The truth is, as you age, you begin to see that most friendships were circumstantial. They existed because of shared workspaces, common interests, or mutual dependencies, but they were never built on something permanent. At a certain age, you begin to realize that most friendships are nothing more than polite obligations. You meet out of habit, you talk out of routine, and deep down, you know that many of these relationships are superficial. People change, priorities shift, and the ones who once called you their closest companion may not even pick up the phone when you need them. Instead of holding on to fading connections, it is far more dignified to embrace solitude. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. In fact, those who rely too much on friendships for happiness often find themselves the loneliest when those relationships inevitably weaken. A person who has mastered solitude, who understands the value of their own company, is never desperate for companionship. They do not need constant validation, nor do they depend on others to fill their time. They live on their own terms, without the exhaustion of maintaining relationships that have lost their meaning. Aging is a process of simplification. The unnecessary must be cut away. The opinions of others, the need for approval, the expectation of loyalty from people who have long since moved on, these are burdens that weigh down the mind. And when you stop needing friends, you stop being controlled by their presence or their absence. You learn to make decisions without seeking permission, to enjoy life without external validation, to live free of social obligations that no longer serve a purpose. Most people fail to realize that as you grow older, the energy you have is limited. Do you really want to spend it trying to maintain relationships that no longer add value to your life? Do you want to chase after people who make little effort to chase after you? The older you get, the more you understand that time is precious. The hours wasted on mindless conversations, the emotional investment in people who wouldn't do the same for you, it is all energy better spent on self-preservation, on self-improvement, on things that actually matter. And when you stop needing friends, you begin to see the world differently. You are no longer tied to groupthink, no longer expected to conform to social expectations. You are free to think independently, to build a life according to your own principles, to create a space where you are at peace without outside interference. Dependency on friendships often leads to unnecessary drama, expectations that are rarely met, and disappointment that is completely avoidable. But there is a certain power in being self-sufficient. It allows you to make decisions with clarity, to set boundaries without guilt, to focus on your own well-being without distraction. Many people, as they age, hold on to friendships out of fear of being alone, fear of insignificance, fear of being forgotten. But those who have truly mastered life understand that peace is not found in numbers, but it is found in contentment, in self-awareness, in the ability to be at ease with oneself. There's an illusion that friendships provide security in old age, that they will be there when times get tough. But look around. How many elderly people are truly surrounded by loyal friends? How many people actually have someone to count on when they are sick, when they are weak, when they are in need? But more often than not, people are left to fend for themselves. Those who have built their own foundation, who have secured their own stability, who have prepared for the reality of aging, are the ones who survive with dignity. When you stop needing friends, you become selective about the people in your life. You no longer tolerate disrespect, dishonesty, or disloyalty. You refuse to entertain meaningless conversations or waste time on relationships that no longer serve a purpose. You stop chasing after people who would not chase after you. And in doing so, you gain something far more valuable than companionship. You gain peace. The greatest tragedy in life is not losing friends. It is losing yourself in the process of keeping them. It is changing who you are to fit the expectations of others. It is holding on to relationships that drain you simply because you are afraid of what life would look like without them. The truth is, once you understand that you do not need friends, you are free. Free from obligation, free from unnecessary emotional burdens, free from the expectations that tie so many people down. So as you age, embrace solitude. Embrace the simplicity of a life without social distractions. Focus on yourself, on your health, on your peace of mind. Because at the end of the day, the only person who will always be with you, from the moment you are born to the moment you take your last breath, is you. And that is the only company you truly need. Friendships are often built on the foundation of shared experiences, mutual interests, and circumstantial proximity. In youth, friendships form effortlessly in school, at work, or in social circles where people are brought together by external forces. These connections feel deep and meaningful at the time, but as life progresses, they often fade. A reality is that most friendships exist not because of some unbreakable bond, but because of the environments and routines that keep people in others' lives. When those circumstances change, so do the relationships. As people grow older, responsibilities shift, priorities evolve, and distance increases. The friendships that once seemed unshakable slowly dissolve. People move away, get married, start families, and build new lives that no longer revolve around the same interactions they once cherished. Some friendships survive these changes, but most do not. This is not necessarily because of ill will or neglect, but simply because people naturally grow in different directions. Friendships also come with an unspoken agreement of mutual benefit. People tend to maintain friendships as long as they find value in them, whether emotionally, socially, or professionally. When that value disappears, so does the motivation to keep the relationship alive. The friend who once called every week may stop when their own life takes a new turn. The bond that once felt essential might suddenly seem unnecessary when the circumstances that sustained it disappear. But even among lifelong friends, the depth of connection can shift. What once felt like an effortless relationship may start to feel like an obligation. Some friendships continue out of habit rather than genuine connection. People often hold on to friendships because of nostalgia, believing that shared history alone is enough to keep them going. However, history does not guarantee relevance, and forcing a connection that no longer serves both people can become more draining than fulfilling. Another truth about friendships is that many are based on convenience rather than true loyalty. It is easy to maintain a friendship when times are good, but true character is revealed when difficulties arise. When someone faces hardship, they often discover which friends were truly there for them and which ones were simply present for the good times. Friendships that dissolve in difficult times were never built on a solid foundation to begin with, only on the illusion of support that existed when things were easy. Friendships are also influenced by external validation and social positioning. People often form friendships based on status, reputation, or the image they want to project. These friendships are the most fragile because they rely not on genuine connection, but on maintaining a certain perception. The moment someone no longer provides social value, they may find themselves ignored or replaced. This is especially common in professional and social circles, where relationships are often transactional rather than sincere. As people age, they start to realize that maintaining friendships requires effort that is not always reciprocated. The expectation to constantly reach out, check in, and maintain communication can feel exhausting when the effort is not mutual. It becomes clear that not all friendships are worth preserving. Some friendships last because both people invest equally, but many exist only because one person is unwilling to let go while the other slowly drifts away. Another reality is that friendships can turn toxic over time. What was once a supportive connection can become a source of stress, manipulation, or resentment. Some friends drain energy instead of adding to life, bringing negativity, jealousy, or competition. Many people hold on to these relationships out of guilt or obligation, even when they no longer bring anything positive. The fear of being alone often keeps people tied to friendships that do more harm than good.